there. Today I'm going to be talking about video editing for multimedia projects, and we're going to be using a product from Apple called iMovie. iMovie is a video editing tool that's included on most Macs, and if it's not already there, it's pretty easy to download from the App Store. iMovie is designed to make it easy for anyone to jump in and start editing video quickly, and it doesn't require you to read a manual just to get started. While it does focus on keeping things simple, it has some very powerful features tucked away in menus and behind various buttons in the interface. It's not going to have as many bells and whistles as the quite a bit more expensive Final Cut Pro or other high-end editing tools, but it does offer more than most non-professional content producers would need to create their professional-looking videos. Because video is so flexible, there are several of the good design practices that apply to it. For example, there's the voice principle that adding audio narration to a video or a static image using a real voice versus a computer-generated voice aids in learner retention. The temporal continuity principle also applies here. That allows for combining video and imagery and audio to provide a simultaneous learning environment. And finally, there's the multimedia principle that takes all of those and combines them together so that the video and the audio are combined to greater increase the retention of the material being taught. So now that we've learned a little bit about iMovie and how some of the design best practices apply to the use of video in a project, let's look at when you should use video and when you shouldn't use video in order to complete your learning objectives. So video is perfect for visually and audibly sharing information with the learner, and the combination of the two versus just one or the other. It's also great for creating engaging content and really getting the learner to involve themselves in the learning process rather than just reading text, viewing images, or even listening to audio. It also can provide that human element that the others can't. With video, you have the ability to show the instructor or show other people, which is always going to be more engaging to another person than just seeing static images or just reading text. And it allows the learner to relate to the person creating the video and sharing the information as more of a real person, and that engages the learning even more so and aids in overall retention. So now on the flip side, let's look at when not to use video. So video is not great when you need interaction with your learner. Video is still a pretty passive kind of media. Most learners will sit and watch the video. They may interact with it by rewinding to a certain part or watching it several times over. But really, that's not a meaningful interaction when it comes to the learner actually understanding the concepts in the video and being able to turn around and do them themselves. Videos are also not great when you don't want to distract the learner with additional visuals, things moving on the screen, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense. So if you're going to create a video and you're just showing a single static image and talking about it the entire time, why make a video about it? Why not just share the image with the learner and then create an audio description of it, or even just a text description of it and have it close to the image? If you don't need all of the things that videos bring to the table, then there's really not a reason to use it. Now let's take a look at iMovie and go through a demo of its basic features and how to use the software. When you first load up iMovie, this is the interface that you'll see. If you haven't created any new projects yet, you'll see the Create New over there on the left-hand side. And you can always search for projects if you have multiple ones there at the top. So if we go in, we create a new movie, you can see what the basic interface looks like. There is the project media and libraries over on the left-hand side, the preview for the video windows right there. You can switch between the different types of media. You have audio, you can do a title slide, and if you go over them and mouse over them a little bit, you can actually see the transitions that each one of them provides. Just a little sample there. There are some backgrounds that are available, but I haven't found myself using them too often. They're nice to have if you want to just stick something in there and put some words over the top of it. And there's also plenty of transitions that iMovie comes with. And again, if you mouse over them, you can slide back and forth and see what those look like. And those are easy to kind of just drag and drop into your project in the timeline down below. So let's switch back over to the media. And over there on the left-hand side, we can select from different media types and we can drop them into that import media. And again, that is the video preview section on the right-hand side. As your video goes through, you'll see it shown there. There's a couple of icons up here with different things that you can do once you've imported some videos, but those are more detailed and I'm not going to get into those just yet. Down here at the bottom is the timeline. This is where you'll be doing most of your work. You can drag video clips into there and audio clips and build out your movie. And as the video advances, this yellow line will go across and it'll actually turn white once there's content down there. And so you can see where in your timeline you're at for your video. So let's go ahead and pull in some video. I'm going to grab this one that I took from last summer. It's just a pretty short thing. I was going down a little ramp on a big inner tube. And you can see how I just dragged it and dropped it right down in there. And you can pause it right whenever you want to, so you can stop it right when you need to. And you can go back and forth by dragging that line and get to the exact right spot that you want to do in the video itself. And if you go all the way back out, you can go over here and zoom so you can get an even more in-depth look at what the video is and where those frames are and get it positioned exactly where you want. So you can also see down here there is a blue line. And that is the audio for the clip. So if you want to modify that, you can detach it. And you can see that it actually adds it as a separate track down there. And so you can slide and adjust the volume. If you go up too high, you can see that it changes color there and lets you know that it's too loud. You can also do some other interesting audio things. Now, it's not going to be as powerful as something like Audacity to modify the audio and make the small adjustments to it that need to be made. So let's zoom back out here, and we can always add another clip onto the end of it. And so you can see how you can piece together these multiple clips and put items and transitions and title screens and everything all in between, and you end up with your final video. And last, you can go up here to the top right and click on that little icon and choose to export the video. You can export it to a file, send it over email, and you can even upload it directly to YouTube and Facebook if you have those connections set up correctly. Since iMovie is so easy to get started with, there are some common mistakes that those new to using the tool can make, and I just want to share a couple of those so that you're aware of it. The first one is not spending enough time reading tutorials and watching videos about the tool and learning about the features that it has. Sometimes, if you don't have enough information about what the tool has to offer, you could be struggling for quite a while trying to figure out how to get it to do exactly what you want, when sometimes there's a feature that'll do that for you. iMovie handles a lot of that kind of stuff automatically. You saw all the transitions and all of the titles and everything that comes with it. And so you don't have to create a lot of that stuff. Apple has put a lot of thought into what's going to make it easy for people to jump into iMovie and start making videos. And so there's a lot of interesting features in there. There's a lot of great information out there about using iMovie, but make sure that it's current, because some of the features that some of the older tutorials and articles talk about are no longer in the latest versions of iMovie. The interface overall, though, can also be pretty daunting for people that don't have that exploratory mentality and feel uncomfortable going and just randomly clicking on things. It's also a problem because not everything has tooltips, some things are just icons, and so some functionality can be kind of hidden away until you find it. Another pretty common mistake is using too many transitions. We've all seen the videos that are like that. They show transitions for the move from every single picture to another one, and it just gets to be too overwhelming. You can use transitions in your videos where they're going to be effective, but try not to use too many of them because it does make it really easy to apply them to the video. People tend to overuse them. And one of the other things that I've noticed with iMovie is its shortcomings in creating videos that are not in the 16:9 aspect ratio. So a normal television program is going to be 3:4, and that's a little bit more of a square. The 16:9 is more of the longer video, and that's pretty much what iMovie specializes in. It's really difficult to get it to try and make something in a different aspect ratio, but again, they're opting on the side of simplicity and just saying, here's this same aspect ratio, make your content fit to that. Thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully you learned a little bit about iMovie and how some of the best practices for working with multimedia projects can be applied to it. There are tons of other resources out there for learning about iMovie, and there are also other kinds of software that are similar to iMovie that are also low in price or free. So just get out there, explore your options, and try to figure out what's going to work best for your workflow.